What did the author find in a junk shop? A roll-top desk that belonged to the 19th century was found by the author in the junk shop. It was in a bad condition and was made from oak wood. One of its legs was clumsy. The top was broken into several pieces, and there were scratch marks on one side. What did he find in a secret drawer? Who do you think had put it in there? There was a small tin box, found in the secret door of the roll-top desk. There was a piece of lined notepaper with sellotape on the top. It was received on January 25, 1915, and was meant to be buried with his wife, when the time comes. The letter was sent by Jim, the husband, to his wife when he was on duty. Mrs. McPherson, Jim's wife, would have put it there. Who had written the letter to whom and when? The letter was written to the wife, Connie McPherson, on December 26, 1914, by Jim, who had gone to fight the war against the Germans. Why was the letter written? What was the wonderful thing that had happened? Jim wanted to narrate a beautiful incident that happened on Christmas. Germans and British were engaged in the war, but on Christmas, they met in the no-man's land. Right in the middle of the war, the soldiers were making peace and celebrating Christmas together. They even played a brief football match together. What jobs did Hans Wolff and Jim McPherson have when they were not soldiers? Hans Wolff played the cello in the orchestra at Dusseldorf, while Jim was a school teacher in the west of England. Both were not soldiers in their normal life. Had Hans Wolff even been to Dorset? Why did he say he knew it? No, Hans never went to Dorset and had learned all about England from the school and reading books in English. Thomas Hardy was his favorite writer, and from his novels, he learned a lot about England. Do you think Jim McPherson came back from the war? How do you know this? The sellotaped notepaper was the last that was written by Jim's last letter. Hence it was likely that he didn't come back from the war. His wife never received any more letters from him after that. She lived alone, as told by her neighbor, and the nurse said that no member of her family has ever visited her to date. Why did the author go to Bridport? The author was guilty that he opened the letter inside the drawer and read it. The address where Mrs. McPherson lived was mentioned in the letter. How old was Mrs. McPherson now? Where was she? Mrs. McPherson was in a nursing home in Burlington Home, on Dorchester Road, on the other side of the town. She was that time 101 years old. Who did Connie McPherson think her visitor was? The narrator was carrying in his hand the letter, and hence Connie thought that he was her husband.